of creatures. And I said, now wait a minute, now what happened to the Rig Veda that has all these creatures and stuff and these particular things that's not human? The Book of the Dead, when you go down into the vignettes, they got monsters up in there. They talk about one in this particular book, Well in the Soul. They'll show a particular picture of an alligator with a snake tail. Well, what the fuck is that? And they said that they was giving you the aspect of the monster. They also talk about how you had to, when you go to a certain level of spirituality, you had to identify with animals. And these animal masks are the dog head, bird head, hawk head, alligator head, because this was on such a high level until humanity does not reflect this level. And so in order to deal with these high levels, you had to come outside of your human view of things. So that's why you got the hawk head, the bird head, and all those things. When you go to the high level, you can no longer identify with the human because it's on another level. So they modified it down in dynastic period to animals. In pre-dynastic period, it was monsters. And that's where you get the whole monster shit from. Get the movie, what's that movie, Small Soldiers. And the monsters and shit, it was monsters and shit. All they wanted to do was get back home, but it was peaceful. And one had dreadlocks. Now you know where I'm going with this shit. Alright. Now you know where I'm going with this thing now. Hold on. So now they used to, Small Soldiers, hellified movie. You know, we use our own language, hellified. That's a straight up nigga shit right there. And ain't no shit no white motherfucker made up. Hellified. But you know that's some bad shit. You know what I'm saying? Now that's a powerful shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Hellified. So, alright. Now, dealing with this holy guardian angel, I'm still on that. The Egyptians say, you know, we can't, when we get to a certain level, and when we deal with the gods, we put animal heads. Before the dynastic period, pre-dynastic, there was monsters. Why is it that the white people why is it that the white people make monsters and toys and give it to their children? You understand what I'm saying? And they was talking about by the 1980s, they said, God damn, they had it on the news, said this shit is ridiculous. These damn toys that the children are playing with is grotesque. But they say the more hideous, the more they sell. Alright? You got to fall in love with the monster. Now y'all follow me on this one, because this is very important. Alright? So the Egyptians used to give you, but after the monster they would still give you birds and the more and bird head, hawk heads, and the more vicious they get, you would get like Hemmitt. It's a creature, you don't know what it is. It's a crocodile, it's a hippopotamus, it's a threefold composite figure called Hemmitt. He's the destroyer of souls. In the judgment scene, you'll see him when you go to Chicago. Also, and stuff. You would also get crocodile heads and all kinds of stuff like that. But they're trying to show you something above the human image and the human condition. Now you got to do more than the image because you got to become the monster. I'm going ahead of myself, so now hold on. Linda Filario's book, The Shadow Tarot. This is the book, The Shadow Tarot, dealing with the tree of life and the tarot. There's a dark, you got the spears, the scepters on the tree of life, but on the tree of life, there's dark side scepters also. She makes a particular part in the preface of her book, talking about the problems of evil and the dark side. She goes on to say in here is, she goes on to say this about human conditions being a scapegoat. In this particular, the dark side being a scapegoat. Now, in religion and in morality, when we have a human experience that's bad, or uncouth, or whatever within this confines of the human experience, religion and everything else tends to say, oh, that's the dark side. That's the dark side. She makes the point that if the dark side is not human, and it's this alien type of existence, how can you say that things that you got fucked up in human conditions is attributed to the dark side? That's not human. You get where I'm coming from here? Like something is, like religion has got you on a scapegoat. Everything that you think is bad, that you can only have an experience in human, everything you do is inside the confines of human condition, right? I think that's fair. So, if everything you do is human condition, both good and ugly, then ugly has to be completely a human condition because the dark side is something alien. It's not human. Otherwise it'll be in the human condition like you ain't in the human condition. So that means that somebody is taking human conditions and blaming it on something that's alien, that's not human. They can't even produce that. You get where I'm coming from here? I want to ask you this other question. To break down this bullshit, fire. Can we say that in order for fire to burn something, it has to be physical in some kind of state? Whether from the gas state to the solid, it still has to be confined in a physical complex. Can we say this? In order for fire to burn something, it has to have physical molecules to burn up, right? Okay? So, if you lose your goddamn physical body, how in the fuck can you burn in hell? What about this shit? You don't have a physical body. And when they talk about what the soul is, based on metaphysics, the soul is solar is a sun. S-U-N-S-O-N. Which is what? Fire. So how the fuck can fire burn fire? It's all the same element. Or is it the soul is burning up the motherfucking physical? You get where I'm coming from? I'm trying to think of this shit because the whole religious experience is based on you burning in hell. See what I'm saying? Which is Dante's Inferno. Half the shit we get is from a motherfucker from the damn Dark Ages. Dante's Inferno. So I'm trying to figure this out now. If it's fair to say that the only thing that fire can burn is that which is physical, if you lose your physical body, which you do when you die, how the fuck can you burn in hell? When the counterpart is the only thing that's left behind is a spark of fire. Get where I'm coming from here? Alright, let's go to the crux of what I'm talking about here when putting these series of analogies together. Let's deal with this. I've been talking about us being monsters. I've been talking about this shit for years. We're not human, we're monsters. One time I was in damn Kroger. And I walked up and I was in Kroger. And I went down one aisle and my mate went down the other aisle. When we met again, she said, "Do you love me?" I said, "Well, goddamn it, you a big ass monster. I mean, it's highly irrelevant about this human term. But I understand where you're coming from." But what I was trying to get her to say is ultimately, we done been in the game a long time. We're monsters. Well, obviously I'm with you. I do love you. But I'm trying to see here is, are you trying to fall to this damn condition of things that really ain't gonna really make no damn bit of difference? You see what I'm saying? If you really understand what you are. Now, I've been talking about this stuff for years. Now, let me give you a bit of history on what I'm talking about here, because I was laying in the bed and I said, "Well, hold on now. I see all these metaphysical books on how to raise yourself up, but I also see the ancient texts talking about monsters and how do these monsters relate." And I already know that these monsters and stuff, but I'm trying to get a theology going here to try to understand something and to try to log into a key which I know the government don't want us to deal with. Now, this is the deal. Aleister Crowley has a disciple, Kenneth Grant, that came out of the 1950s. Established the New Isis Lodge in 1955. He didn't start writing a series of books until 1972. He became ridiculed and scorned by the metaphysical world because he dared to use Gerald Massey's works, which is a no-no in both the scholastic world and the metaphysical world. And he dared to use that and say all this shit was African. All this shit was African. Okay. He wrote a series of books between 72 to 1980. It was the first load of books and stuff he wrote. And the books was basically talking about the whole Crawley experience and the AWA stuff and all this type of stuff. And he wrote these series of books. Magical Revival 1972, Cults of the Shadow 1975, A Night Side of Eve 1977, and in 1980 he wrote a book called Outside the Circles of Time. 1980. Okay, he didn't write another book until 1992. I thought it was kind of odd. But when he wrote the book, when he came out with Hecate's Fountain in 1992 and then Outer Gateways in 1994, Beyond the Mob Zone in 99-2000, I thought this was kind of odd because they started reissuing all the other books. They're all out of print now. But they started reissuing all the books, but they didn't reissue the 1980 book. So I got to go and meet up with this book, and when I finally tracked the book down in New York, they say $150. So I go and track it down in Florida for $70 fucking. But I found it interesting that when they started reprinting the stuff in the 1990s, they never reprinted this particular book. And so when I was dealing with this particular stuff, and I was saying about the monster, because this is one of the keys, I realized that he had gone to the level when he had gone to the level like I had been teaching on the level for years. He had gotten to that level in 1980, and he was censored. So when the other books had reprint, they reprinted all of them up to 1980, and the 1980 book they didn't reprint, and they reprinted the ones from 1992, 94, and then 99, but they never reprinted the book. And I'm saying, well, what the hell is going on? And I said, bingo. I'm laying on the bed, and I'm like, well, the only one I know that made references where he comprised the book together was number one, H.P. Lovecraft, Cthulhu mythos, but he only talks about Nyarlathotep being the messenger, but he never says that those monsters, Cthulhu, is actually man. He always said where man lives now, those monsters of Cthulhu and them used to live, and where man is now, they shall live again. He never says that man is these motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? Okay. I say it in all my stuff, but he never says it, H.P. Lovecraft, before he dies. Okay, Crowley gets into this stuff, Kenneth Grant gets into this stuff, he's ostracized, he's beat over the head. By the time he comes out back in 92 and they start reprinting the book, they start putting disclaimers on all his shit, especially the later books, but they still don't print the book that I got to go get. And I finally got a cheap copy for $70, about a week after the motherfucker was on sale this year in New York for $150. But he makes the mistake, and he does the ultimate taboo that mankind should not know. And what I've been teaching, but I'm just a Negro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, but he makes a mistake, and then all of a sudden, he too is censored. You see what I'm saying? Now, he gets the jump on them. He gets the jump on them because they are beating him down all over the whole occult world. So he backdoors them. He's writing all this Egyptian terminology. So he said, I got to go. So he said, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to still do the H.P. Lovecraft stuff, but I'm going to put it in Sumerian terminology just to backdoor these crackers and get the heat off of me. It's not going to come from England. I'm going to go to Albuquerque, New Mexico and put this motherfucking shit out. So he comes out with a book called Polaria. Polaria. When he comes out with this book here, let's see if I got a copy of this shit. So while they talking shit all on the internet, they censoring his shit all over the country and stuff, the cult world is up in frenzy. He sneaks and does a book called Polaria out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, out of a company called Brotherhood of Light, Albuquerque, New Mexico. He sneaks there, and out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, he comes out with a book called Polaria, and he calls himself R.H. Mueller. But Mueller is his old book company from the 1970s called Mueller Publishing. So he comes out with this badass shit called Polarium. Probably one of the baddest shits in the 1990s to come out. There's this book called Polarium. He sneaks it in by Albuquerque, New Mexico. The book is dropped in 1996. Before they know it, by 1998, 99, they figured out, oh, that's Kenneth Grant. Okay, but the key here is the other book, Outside the Circles of Time, is censored. It's censored because he dared do something. First of all, he says what Salvador Dali said. The only difference between me and a madman is I'm not mad. But every goddamn other thing that madman is doing, I'm doing too. You get it? The only difference between me and a madman is I'm not mad. That's metaphysical. The only difference between me and a madman is I'm not mad. So if you're not mad, the madman is doing some genius shit. He's just mad. You see what I'm saying? That's what Salvador Dali said. Now, in here, this is what gets it censored, because he's talking about something called the monstrous soul. I've been talking about this shit for the last 6, 7 years, but I'm bringing you the documentation because out of all the stuff here and all, I never seen nobody in the biblical sense, bibliography sense, to make the link. But he says this: the dragon, which is the Lavado we've been talking about, will come again. And all as almighty sorcerers, for the mighty beasts of the deep have been unleashed, and they have gone about their pathways of destruction. For now, you've got to get this thing, because this is crucial. Because this particular entity, Lavado, which I am so happy, I try to understand this for the people who haven't been here the last 3 lectures. On May 23rd, an entity called Lavado came out, a dragon-like entity. We produced it. His color is blue. Told people to get blue, make the altars. He's a dragon. We told the people to get the book, Dancing with Dragons. Here's the other books, Flying Serpents and Dragons by R.A. Boulay, which is the scholarly piece. This particular book here has some good ritual. As a matter of fact, we did a dragon ritual. One of the rituals we did to the dragon, to Lavado, but that's when they called us to Vegas. We did the ritual in Vegas. This is some of the rituals we did out of this particular book, DJ Conway's book, Dancing with Dragons. Now, this is the key. So he comes, Lavado comes, and Lavado comes, and I was so glad because I said that I didn't want people to say, well, you know, that Bobby done lost his fucking mind. He done come up with some new god that nobody know about. You know what I'm saying? Just to further his career or whatever type shit, you know. You know what I'm saying? Further his career and shit like that, no. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why I'm goddamn hungry now, because they selling turkey burgers. You see this shit? They selling goddamn turkey burgers at Kroger's for $6, 12 in a box. You better get up on it. Yeah. So my point is, you know, so I ain't trying to further no career. The career been on. But the Lavado character came, and I said I was so glad that Kimberly, the sister Olivia in Kansas, channeled to Lavado. Kimberly got Lavado, and the sister Kate out in California gets Lavado, and the damn entity came from 3 sisters. So therefore they can't say that Bobby invented this shit, because the sisters are the one that they broke through and shit and brought the Lavado forth. And Kimberly was the first one to do it on May 21st. And it's nothing but a Horus character, and I traced them through all the history. It's Lamu, Labu, Laamu, and all this type of thing here. And I said, I'm so glad. Now the key here is, I'm pulling down the books to do the lecture. So I got to go to the damn toilet. So I said, let me grab a book and shit and take it in the goddamn toilet. You know the whole deal, how that shit is. You know, it's the best reading in the world. So I grabbed the book. Some say, why are you grabbing that book? You already know, so you know ain't shit in this book. And I grabbed the book anyway and take it to the toilet. And when I open up the page, it says this. In this particular book, now bear with me, what I'm trying to say here. And then we'll have some questions of people not unsure what's going on. In this book called Secret Traditions of Author and Legend, it's probably still in print. Secret Traditions in Arthurian Legends by Gareth Knight. Gareth Knight. In this particular chapter, he said in the whole King Arthur thing, and I've been telling people about the King Arthur thing, the Moors brought the King Arthur mythology up into Europe, brought it to Europe, to the Holy Grail, Lancelot, Excalibur, Guinevere, King Arthur, the sword, the stone, Paul of all and all that. Brought it to Ireland. It's nothing but a retelling of the Osirian myth. Brought it to Ireland. The Irish had it. Britain conquers Ireland. Get this mythology and try to claim today this whole Arthur thing about this particular Camelot. And it's a prophetic thing about a people in a faraway land, and we are the Camelot and King Arthur. The word Arthur means Sirius, Osiris, dog star, and all that. Rundle and Clark's book, Egyptian myths and symbol. Rundle and Clark book, Egyptian myths and symbol. They deal with that Arthurian mythology. Say that ain't nothing but Osirian stuff. Anyway, dealing with this particular science, with the King Arthur thing, he has a chapter called Titans, Lures, Titans and Star Lure. And he goes on to say that the classical Greek mythology, we need to go beyond the familiar pantheon of Zeus and the Olympians and go back to the gods who they overthrew, their parents, who are the Titans. You see, the origin of the Titans are giant gods, go back in time, and has acidic background only earth and sky, that they were born of a primeval mother, Gaia, fathered by Uranus, the heavenly deep sky father. And they go into the Titans and how they were overthrown and their bodies was turned into humans. Well, here, right there, I already tell you that that's the monster origin already. I've been talking about this stuff for years. The point what I am trying to say here is this. He goes on to say that it is important to the Titan because although the Titans are overthrown, Gaia sends back her last son. Now, first of all, Gaia is now the earth. So her last son has to be something in this time because the earth still exists. And if she's the earth, her last son has to be talking about now, okay? Alright, going right along. She sends Titan, and Titan is so powerful he scares these particular gods. Okay, he goes on to trace this thing, where he traced this thing down to now the existing Arthurian myth of Camelot mythology, or Arthur mythology, that later on occupies Europe by the Moors. That's the key, that's where all this shit came from. Now, he says that Typhon, the son, which is the last son, also ends up being the dragon. Subsequent, the legend is invested with a monster and menacing shape. Tends to occur in the old gods when a new religion and culture takes over and banishes the previous ones, and the repressed shadow world of its own subconscious. He said, in fact, the dragon represents some of the earth energy now lost to human knowledge. So in so many words, the dragon finds itself in this whole Arthurian mythology. Then, you know, they got the dragon slay, they got to kill the dragon. Do the work, do the homework, and do the shit. There's plenty of movies. Excalibur, a dragon slayer, dragon heart, Rain of Fire, Lord of the Rings, all of that shit. There's all the stuff in Lord of the Rings. 2 Towers is there now, which is the key. They battle in 2 Towers. We had 2 Towers to fall. All of that shit is hooked up mythology. Now, the key here is this. So he said that we done traced this Typhon figure down to, and he also got what's called Delphine, which is the feminine dragon in the Greek mythology of Typhon. But he traced this shit down to the Arthur mythology. And this is what the deal is. Now look at this. So he's already traced the dragon. We already know that in the Arthur mythology, which is the same Titan figure. Now this is when shit really gets good, because I talked about this particular entity, Labrador, a dragon-like figure that came from the sisters, so they can't say that Bobby Hemmitt invented this shit. And then look at this bullshit right here. And this is what the book I had to go take a shit on and didn't want to get, was reluctant to get. And the spirits grabbed the shit and bam, said, now look at this. This was found on a shit break right before I came to this lecture. Alright, look at this thing. Y'all alright? Okay, look at this. Look at this baby right here. I want to show you this. Page 37. He traces the dragon and all this thing here in a Titan figure. Then he says this. In those mythologies, they got a cup, they got a lance, and more ancient primitive, you have roots in the club and the cauldron. Well, you got cups and you got clubs and you got all that shit in your playing cards also too. Then you can understand why they out there in Vegas with all that magic, the playing cards, which came from the tarot cards and all that shit. That's magic. Big time. All right. All right, now look at this. The cups and the lance are primitive roots in the cup and the cauldron. Now this is where it says, both of these attributes of Dagda, he said both of these are attributes of a god called Dagda, is an ancient father of the gods. Now listen to this. Dagda, they trace these titans to Dagda. Dagda is a titanic figure of Irish mythology. Remember the Moors introduced it into Ireland? So Dagda is a titanic figure of Irish mythology whose function was later taken over by a person called Lu, L-O-U-H, Lu, which means sun, S-O-N-S-U-N, Lu Lavada. Ain't this a bitch now? Lavado, L-A-V-A-D-O. This is Lu Lava, L-A-V-A-D-H-A. There's Lavado, here go the bitch right here. Lu Lavada, and I say, well, that could be a man, you reaching. Then it says right here, Lu Lavada, the sun god and master of all skills. Ain't that a bitch? This is the same Lavado thing. I went call down Kansas City to get a channel. Lavado said, yeah, this is me. I'm in the damn book. So you ain't motherfuckers can't say that this shit ain't real about the dragon Lavado that's on the scene. They burnt down my man Lancelot bathroom and struck me by lightning and all that crazy shit. And stuff like that and all. Lavada, Lu, okay now. Dagda now Dagda was this particular titanic figure. It was later on Irish mythology. It was taken over by Lu Lavada, the sun god and master of all skills. Then the club became refined into a technologically more efficient spear. And later times still, Lu Lavada, or Lavado, became humanized as the best knight in the world, Lancelot of the damn lake. Go get the movie Clash of Titans, not Clash of Titans, get the movie, that's a good one, but get the movie Excalibur, and Lancelot goes with Queen Guinevere, Arthur's wife in there, the trusted knight. That's Lavado, the greatest knight of all times. In the book, Arthurian tradition, secret tradition and Arthurian legend. Now, going back, in this particular book, it was banned in the United States, and banned after its first edition from 1980, outside the surface of time, Kenneth Grant. He talks about the monstrous soul, and this is what he says in this particular book. Hold the powers that we have given you, for only the transformation to being, firstly, becoming a monster, shall the magician escape. Now you got to get this shit here, because this is what it's come down to. And again, become a monster and escape the pathway. That alone is the doorway to the Darthian porthole of total darkness. I have told you that all the avenues to escape this particular illusion that we in, the Matrix, that are blocked. All the avenues to escape are blocked, but the truth here is the doorway of becoming a monster. By becoming the beast, so thereby you can escape the ivory door they came through. I know about this door. It is always open, and that ingress from beyond a constant threat, slowly are awakening, and therefore the door always have been created, and you must put the mask, the skins of animals and others. That's what the Egyptians used to do, put on the skins of animals and the mask of the Anubis and all that stuff. And animals and others, horrible monsters and hellish astral entities. And by the means of the magician can you escape this universe into the next system of worlds. We are seeking to set a certain magical specifics in the matter that there cannot be anything else given as advice, because every mouth of hell is opening, and the demons and the daemons of the 11th pathway are pouring into this sphere. He says, in this particular thing, he's been writing this, he's been practicing since the 1940s, but in this particular vein since 1955. He's been writing since 1972, and then in 1980, he breaks the key, which later on I got to come up with my damn self just through the mythology. He breaks the key about becoming the monster. So what are we talking about here? And he is censored for it outside the circles of time, because he's talking about the monster. I'm sitting on the bed. Labrador says, I am not human. The woman says that these things are not human that we seek to raise up. We are in a human condition. We are monsters, titanic beings, having a human experience. But we have to return to a greater force. That force is the return of the monsters. Now, it's such a great aspect, because we're talking about this as a theology. If you know that you're a monster, you understand what I'm saying? You're a real kick-ass motherfucker. Just take the Godzilla shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, it might not seem, it might seem hideous to the human form, but let's say if you're outside of the human form and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's a male and female, we got some Godzilla shit, I'll be Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's some Godzilla pussy, man, I'm good to go. You know what I'm saying? And that's, you know what I'm saying? You know, excuse the church. You know, this the last day shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what the black man say, you know. White man say, you ain't been in the mood, say, hell, ain't no pussy on the mood. Put some pussy on the mood, the black man to get in his car like a drive to the moon. Now, the Godzilla thing here is, the whole concept of the monster is to break the cycle of what we think is human. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is this. In all these religions, they're telling you that we have to get to the porthole based on the human condition. The white man is sitting back laughing because he knows the key. You can't get to the porthole with the human condition because the porthole is not human. You have to identify with the porthole in which you're going. You got to identify with the entity in what you're trying to turn into. So religion's got it all wrong. Remember, religion is a deterioration of more ancient forms. So what happened is after the course of thousands of years, this particular thing got deteriorated and degraded into nothing but the later day mindset of man, and they took all these particular things and these mystical things we're supposed to go to and turned it into human conditions, which later on led to moralism. And this thing here is alien, which has nothing to do with human condition. So the key here is, as Labrador said, I'm a fucking monster. You don't want to get to the realm of where we are, you got to think and you got to be like us. You see what I'm saying? Now, what are we talking about here? Well, I ain't talking about you walking around here, you go buy you a Godzilla suit and walk down the damn street. All that kind of shit here. The concept here is thinking like a monster is going again, we must break all things that we think is important in the human aspect of things. It doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? We have become wrapped up in this particular thing, and we're trying to find breakthroughs, but we're trying to find breakthroughs of alien origins by human means. And the key here, what they're saying here, is the ultimate and final key in the theology of this thing here is, stop thinking like a fucking human. But in this particular case, you got to think like the monster. How do one think like the monster? How does one think like the monster? You think like the monster by devaluing all things human in your mind. Now, you don't have to goddamn go out here and take your baby and throw it upside the wall to explode. But what I'm trying to say here is it's a mindset. Once you start thinking like the monster, you will stop getting scared of the damn monster. See what I'm saying? You stop getting scared of the monster. That kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? So the concept here is, this is the stuff that he got banned for. This particular book got banned because of thinking like them, because of he's made it. He already understands. Even in the book, Fred Pelton wrote a book, it's a book on Cthulhu myths, where he showed that the monstrous being that H.P. Lovecraft was talking about in his movies, he traced it back to ancient mythology. But the key here is what the Tiamat is turned into, which is an ancient dragon is turned into human, her mate. She's turned into earth, her mate is turned into human, but the Titans are turned into human. We still are saying at this particular time here is become the monster. Now, one last thing, two last things, we're going to go into question and answer right quick. Two last things and go into question and answer. Now in this particular book here, Tetragrammaton by Donald Tyson. Tetragrammaton by Donald Tyson, 1995. The monster shows up in Dr. John Dee's and some people that went in the British Museum and start copying down these texts that the Moors left behind. I think Queen Elizabeth let them go up in there because she had a fancy towards astrology and psychic phenomena, so she let them go in and translate stuff because she was friendly towards the occult. So they came in and translated this particular information, Enochian magic, and they brought in these angels came down and brought them these Enochian magic. The best one is one of the better ones is The Beginner's Guide to Enochian Magic by Donald Tyson. Beginner's Guide to Enochian Magic by Donald Tyson, because he's the one that put back some other texts that had been lost in the last couple of years. Anyway, it's going back to the same thing. But in here is these angelic beings, but there's one angelic being called Khoronzon. Khoronzon. Now, Khoronzon is nothing but the Lavador character. Let's deal with that right quick. What this Khoronzon thing is, which is the Lavador character. Which is the Lavador character, which is the same entity. And then I want to explain something with this Khoronzon thing. Khoronzon, one half of the B666, the guardian of the threshold of the unknown universe, or universe B. The number of Khoronzon is 333. It is the female half of the beast, whose other half is the desert howler, Shigul. Khoronzon is probably a corrupt word of the word Khazar. Khazar. Now, Khoronzon, another thing, this is coming from some of Kenneth Grant's works. Here's another one, Khoronzon. Khoronzon. Khoronzon, a triple of disintegration, and a triple principle of disintegration of the ego. One must be brought into play in other effects of the ultimate reintegration of a phenomenon of the numeral sense. Now, whatever the fuck you talking about here. Khoronzon dissolves the ego. It is regarded by the ego as a sense of evil. Remember all the shit we was talking about? Everybody talking about stay away from the evil and all that kind of stuff. It dissolves the ego. A corrupt of Khoronzon the concept, of Khoronzon plays vitally important in magic. Particularly dangerous because it can assume any form whatever to delude the magician, ration up to evoke without first having established communication with the Holy Guardian Angel. So here it is, the Holy Guardian Angel is coming to get you down, ready for Khoronzon. Now, Khoronzon, it says, now let's read this. Okay, Khoronzon, they're talking about a death dragon. We must willfully, this is Donald Tyson's book, talking about the inner workings of your mind and what you must do. We must willfully invite the destruction of our universe with the speech from our own lips. The gates at the four corners of creation are locked from the inside. They cannot be battered down by the forces of Khoronzon, but if we can deceive, but we can be deceived into opening them by using the keys. The great dragon, Khoronzon Lavador, can enter our dimension of reality. Our space-time transformation into he can enter into our space-time and transform it into his own needs. Which are not our needs. We cannot exist in the present form in the dwelling of Khoronzon. In the course of transformation, we will be destroyed. Now, what this thing is talking about here is the destruction of the ego and the destruction of the human aspect as we know it. Now, I know this ain't going to go away. You've been hearing me talk this shit for the longest, and I know you want to know when I can tell you something about your 401k plan and whatever kind of motherfucking mortgage and all that kind of shit. That ain't what I'm here to do. That's not my lecture. Now, I'm not saying that that's not something that you can look into and shit like that. That's not what I do. And whenever I start doing that shit, you will know I'm not on my game. Anyway, this particular destructive force has to be invited by us, and you have to do it by becoming the monster. That is the reason why the government wants you to be docile. Now, the last key of this particular thing is this. I found out about this damn monster. I went face to face with this fucking monster. Now, this shit comes to reality. This is why it's key that the black woman has to be on lockdown. This is the reason why the black woman has to be in the church for the government. She's got to be in the church. She's got to be Miss Goody Two Shoes and shit like this and all this kind of thing here and all. She's got to be Miss Puritanical. She's got to be all this kind of shit. You know, except giving over to the ultimate pleasure. And this is why they got to separate you from the damn black man. Because I found this goddamn monster can come out in sex. I saw this shit happen in November. I saw it happen in damn spring of the year. I saw it happen at least 3 times. November, the spring of the year, I saw it happen in May. I saw it happen in November. And I saw the shit happen in December. The monster can come out, and I'm trying to tell you, the monster is in. The sister is the first person that can get to the goddamn monster, but she can also get to the monster through series of orgasms and that whole 9 yard and stuff. But the monster can come the fuck out. You see what I'm saying? The monster can't come out. I've seen this shit happen. So I do know that this particular thing, now the point I'm trying to make, why are you saying, what are you saying all this kind of shit? Because what I'm trying to say here is this here. A few years ago, with the cycle being wrong, the monster wouldn't come out that way. I'm telling you, the monster, I saw the damn monster come out for a brief minute. And I'm telling you that monster came out because we are in that particular cycle. And we are right at the threshold of getting something done here. And the cracker knows it, and he want to put motherfuckers on lockdown of distraction with the war and all this other bullshit and locking up your leaders and stuff like that now. But you are focusing on, and also you focusing on your goddamn money and all this other shit here. And I know that's kind of hard, and I know I'm not trying to tell you not to focus on that, but you're going to have to balance some shit and all. And in your off time, you're going to have to damn seek this thing on another level, but you're going to have to doggone stop identifying yourselves as humans and give over to the monster. Now, I say this to the conscious community. We need to goddamn go for broke. Yeah, you go for broke. Fuck you. What we want you to do here is we want to take your vices, whatever your vice is, and we want you to up the ante on that motherfucker. So whatever your damn vice is, we want you to put that in maximum overdrive. You know what your vice is? Anybody unfamiliar with what I'm talking about your damn vice? I'm talking about all your voluptuous ways and all your follies. If it be some Kool-Aid, then put some extra sugar up in that motherfucker. But we need to up the gas on the vices. We need to do exactly what the Bible says you don't need to do. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So you need to drink all the water. If you're into the herb, you need to push yourself into oblivion. You see what I'm saying? You need to up the ante, but you need to find the kind of vices that's going to get you to the altar. If it's music, you need to crank that up, or whatever it is. If it's multiple shit, you need to crank that up. If it's sex, you need to do that. It's ultimate. There's all types. I just said the monster came. I saw the monster come out in sex. Sex is not the only avenue, although he clearly states in outside the circle of time, that is the main thing that he talks about. But we talk about the vices, all your voluptuous ways and all your fucking follies. You see what I'm saying? Whatever your damn vice is. If it's flicking that goddamn TV screen. You see what I'm saying? Whatever it is, you got to give over. Your vice has to become primary. And your priorities got to become secondary. I know this is sounding crazy, but we're dealing with the irrational aspect of things. You see what I'm saying? You cannot diffuse something not unless you go to the doorway. You see what I'm saying? So me, like I said, I'm trying to perfect doing nothing with advanced doing nothing. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to take leisure to a whole other damn level. You see what I'm saying? Even anger. Any kind of vice, you need to push it to the limit till the monster come out. Whatever the damn vice is. You see what I'm saying? Now I ain't telling this, some people say, this nigga here crazy, but no, I ain't telling this to the people out in the street. They can't understand this. I'm talking to a people that's had a series of going to things and trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong. You see what I'm saying? And it's like one sister said, she said, you know, I didn't understand that I did this. She said, man, about 2 years ago, I just couldn't deal with motherfuckers on the outside. I just went inside. You know what I'm saying? She said, I couldn't. She said, goddamn, them crazy ass niggas in the street. She said, I just went inside. I said, fuck it. I ain't going back out there, that crazy stuff. And I realized it was some shit that I did. You see what I'm saying? So, we're talking about the vice, giving in to that particular aspect. You see what I'm saying? To this particular monstrous soul. Now let's go into a question and answer so we can clear some of this up, or so we can get into some things and all here and all, and try to clear this particular stuff up and all. But what I'm trying to say here is, going again, he hit upon it, they censored him. You can't put the two together. You can't have illumination of the human spirit and the monster right at the same time. That's a no-no. It's a no-no. Now, like I said, he stuck around in 1996 and put out Polarius, a whole other structure, whole other mythology. But I looked at this shit, I said, man, this got to be some of the baddest shit on the planet right here. Then it come to find out it was damn Kenneth Grant. You know, Polaria by R.H. Mueller. Polaria. But it's a book that you got to take your time with, because every little shit up in the world is up in, he talking about all this stuff, but it's in that book. Polaria comes out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Brotherhood of Light publication. He snooped there and they published that shit. You know, and it was 3 years before they realized it was him. But the people was like, we know what the fuck is going on. We know the writing style. That's fucking Kenneth Grant. But this one book he put out, Polarius, in print, is a synopsis of the other damn 9 books he done put out. Or the 8 books he put out. You get that one book, Polaria. But you gotta take your time. It's a bad piece of work. It's a fucking master stroke. And so he snook on them crackers' ass and put that shit out. You know, Polaria, 1996, R.H. Mueller. Get that book. It's a must-have and stuff. And you got, and they say the book it must be experienced instead of studied. It's a bad piece. You see what I'm saying? And it's one you can go. It's one of them books you can go in for 10 years because he's writing on the style of Jeromancy. So he's writing on the style of Jeromancy. So it's exhaustive shit, and it's about this thick, but it's packed with shit. And it's packed with shit. Let's go into the question and answer. Okay, another thing also too. Another thing. In this particular book, because what we talk about here is the one last little thing I want to deal with is this here. We're going to go into this question and answer. In this particular book, it's interesting. In this book, Dionysus, Myth and Cult, Walter F. Howard. I got several books on Dionysus, but I come to find out that this one here was very interesting because he was more than other books is built on archaeology. This one is built more on he had a spiritual endeavor. And this particular part, there's a chapter 8, is called The World of the Bewitched, of the Bewitched. The man, it says, the world men knows, or the world man knows, in which he is sheltered himself so securely and snugly, that world is no more. The turbulence, which is accompanied by the arrival of Dionysus, which is all this particular Lavadoe down, all that's the same entity. By the arrival of Dionysus of the Bacchanalian realm, has swept it away. Everything has been transformed, but not transformed into a clamouring fairy story, into an ingenious child's paradise, but a primeval world that has stepped into the foreground and in the depths of reality, which has been opened, the elements from everything that has been that is created and everything that is destructive. And everything that is creative and everything that is destructive. That has arisen the bringing of an infinite rapture and infinite terror. So, infinite terror. The truth is, it is a form of madness. Now, what they're talking about here is, whatever this thing is going down. Now, let me try to explain this shit. What's going on? Okay. The first key here is to recap is maybe the kidney is the monster. Now, the kidney's ultimate goal is to make its way up the system and set on the throne of the pineal gland. That is the key. That is the goal. But the monster, we know this because we understand what the government is attacking. They're attacking us through dehydration. So we know based on Videodrome, the guy said that I thought was an abnormal growth is a whole brand new organ. It's an appendage, but it's a brand new organ. It's an extension of the human condition, and it's going to take over my fucking world. And then the movie is a movie based on alternative realities. Videodrome, 1981. The key here is, we know now that it has to be that when it comes to the kidney. This is some profound shit. Because when the last lecture I came, I even told them in New York, what if the cycles change and there's something that can be produced through water, that we were an aquatic or amphibious type of person in the aspect of that. But we do know that kidneys is named after Echidna. And we do know that it has something to do with the water. So that's one key. And the ultimate goal is the path is to go to the pineal gland using the Kundalini energy inside of us to do that. We know ultimately all this stuff is taking place, the monster will come out. The whole concept is when these inner workings is happening, what's going to happen is this here. There's going to be a world change, and they say it's a world in a twinkling of an eye, the world of the bewitched. There's going to be a whole change of atmospheric attitude, another dimension that's going to slip in here with the twinkling of an eye, and it's got something to do with the world of bewitched that is coming with the Dionysian thing, but it's coming from the inside out. But it is not human. Don't look for human salvation in the biblical or the religious sense, but look for something that you would see in the cartoons. You see what I'm saying? In the cartoons and stuff. Now let's go into a question and answer. To get more of the mythology, here's another book that came out, which is a dynamite piece of book that came out in '99. It's called Ariadne's Clue. Ariadne's Clue. A-R-I-D-N-E apostrophe S Clue. A-R-I-A D-N-E apostrophe S Clue. Ariadne's Clue by Anthony Stevens. And it's a book on mythology that's broken down even in much more modern research of the latest research they've done with this mythological shit. And a lot of the stuff on the Melusines and all the stuff that's going to connect the mythology with the water and everything I was talking about, you're going to be able to get in this particular book put out by Princeton. Ariadne's Clue, A Guide to the Symbols of Mankind by Anthony Stevens. This is a must-have. You see what I'm saying? So this is the latest shit based on the years of research these crackers have been into and stuff coming out by Princeton University in 1999. You see what I'm saying? A must-have. A lot of shit is up in here on the whole reptilian shit, the dragon, the Ariadne, the three sisters that I talk about, all the stuff in mythology, but it's dealing with the stuff on the latest stuff. And stuff. Ariadne, A-R-I-A-D-N-E, Ariadne, S apostrophe S Clue. Ariadne is the only woman that Dionysus hooked up with, and she's the form of the great mother. And stuff like this and stuff now. Ariadne and stuff. So let's go into a question and answer right quick. What's that?
First of all, I want to ask about, you said you have to use magic to repair the kidneys.
What I'm saying, which was a good question. The question is you said something about kidneys. I know that there's a lot of things out here that you can go to different people and they can tell you what to do based on holistic health to prepare the kidneys, and all other things you need to do. I'm trying to say here is also, too, is the next step up, is do not rule out magic. But the magic I'm trying to let you do is not necessarily in the old traditions. Now, I'm not trying to say that the old traditions, you rule out the old traditions, but I'm trying to say here is that's not the end all and be all. Some of the magic, you can use the same entities and create your own magical formulas. And that is the closest thing in these days of what we're doing to rise up. You see what I'm saying at all? The magic that I be doing be like this, just be tearing down shit. It just be so goddamn powerful. You know what I'm saying? Now I went out to I went out to that pyramid and we did a ritual out there, and I told the sister Olivia, I said, now look, got up the stuff, I told the sister Olivia, I said, Olivia, remember now, whenever we do this damn magical shit, if you wake up tomorrow, if some shit is going down, usually, if some stuff is going down, you feeling a little ornery, you feeling a little mad, or whatever, just remember, it ain't the situation, it ain't me, it ain't you, it's the goddamn magic. The next day, she damn near tore up the goddamn moon. Raised all kind of hell up in them white people shit. And I'm looking at the shit because I know it's the magic, because I knew what we gonna need. Because Lama Joe said, he said, I'm swooping down in this motherfucker. So I knew that the power was coming. And the next morning we woke up, she was mad as a motherfucker. I said, oh shit, the magic got her ass. She was mad the whole fucking day. And I'm looking at that stuff and all that, I said, the magic got her. And then that night she tore up the goddamn room. Tore that motherfucker up. And I'm like, I'm looking at the magic, I said, the magic. So I know when you do your own shit, it's powerful. That's called the New Year magic. That's called chaos magic. Chaos magic does not stick in the tradition, but what they do is they combine several traditions and the essence of your own flavor to come up with your own stew. Since we are the gods now. You see what I'm saying? So there's things you do within the confines of a tradition, but I'm trying to tell you, now some of the stuff is some shit you create. The key here is to have confidence. You couldn't even think the shit up if it wasn't real. So whatever you come up with, that's the way it's supposed to be. You know when you get into the zone and shit start happening, you start coming up with shit. I'm trying to tell you. You see what I'm saying? What we did was not traditional. We went up in that motherfucker, started creating some stuff, and I swear to God, the power was on. So I'm saying one of the things is all the holistic stuff, but I'm also saying now you have the power to create your own magic to heal yourself. Now I know myself, because like I said, when this shit came down, this juice, I tell them, take this motherfucker and I take this shit here and heal any damn thing.
So when we are angry, are we at our strongest point?
Yeah, that's the monster. Remember I tell you about the theology of hate and anger? And in this particular book here, the particular book there, Dreams in the Underworld, that particular book, he says that Hercules had to get mad. That's Christ. Hercules, Horus, all that's the same. He had to get mad to get the damn underworld to respond. He had to get mad. And whenever I get mad, these motherfuckers get on it. When I start to curse and get mad, they get on it. And every now and then when I suffer, because I just can't force myself to get mad enough.
Is that gin energy?
The gin is one one's genius. The gin is the genius. It's the Agos Damien, it's Amen, which is the hidden force, Amen. Amen, Damon, Damien, demon, the genie, the jinn. You see what I'm saying? Muhammad knew this shit here. He knew that them old savage ass white Arabs couldn't tap into it. His father was a Cushite Arabian, which is talking about that same Ethiopian Cushite. So he knew it and stuff. But I knew, but they couldn't give it them damn savage people. But so a lot of that stuff becomes taboo. But the jinn is one on genius, the Agos Damien. Once you get down with the Agos Damien, it's on. It's on. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you really want to speed up the thing, whatever you do magically, jump into some booty right after it. Huh?
Or having an orgasm before and then jumping into it.
Yeah, that or either right after it. You can do it either before. That might be the thing too, and stuff like that. But when you conjure the energies up, you need to let them feed. Let them feed. They're feeding off of the elixirs and the collars and the stuff I was talking about. They're feeding off all that stuff and they get empowered and you boost them up. So you want to get them to do some shit for you, feed them some goddamn juice. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Some milkshake on their ass. You see? Now, so that's the kind of science we're talking about. We're talking about the ultimate blasphemy and taboo. And stuff like that. Give me some questions. What's that?
The libido.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the sex word libido.
Ain't y'all something? And you know what? Ever since this baby has risen, everything, I mean, the name is composite with everything, and I know that that's the force. Libido. Well, guess what? Let's break this down. Libido, if you trace him back, in the Greek mythology, he is called the Eros dragon. I done found that the dragon is Eros. And Eros is what? Libido. The dragon Typhon is caught and trapped under Mount Etna. And then he erupts, that's the dragon Typhon, and he erupts in what? Lava. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's all the things, so that's a connection. That's the beautiful stuff, but that's it. And all that's it. As a matter of fact, now Libido came